Hello, I am so glad that you guys are here. And it's always a blessing and an honor to share a little bit about who I am and my ministry, Daughters of Warfare, and the clients that we serve. So I just want to start off by saying that nothing about me was normal or average the moment that I gave my life to Christ at 25. I am 41 today, and I am so blessed and honored and humbled to be able to serve the clients that I serve. And I want to give you a little bit of a background. So, I would say over a decade, I have been in healing and deliverance, but over 20 years, I was working in mental health and crisis intervention and working in the children's systems and foster care systems. I've seen so much, okay? And it's a broken system, okay? I will just say that. It is definitely a broken system, and everything that we see within the mental health structure is spiritual first and foremost. My heart is to be able to create safe place for people that are going through extreme torment by unseen forces and supporting them beyond healing and deliverance, because I truly believe the times that we're living in, we are activated in cosmic warfare. Okay. So there's things happening at a quantum level. There's quantum entanglement now, there's AI, there's sorcery happening at such a high level, and then there's people getting saved and coming into the knowledge and wisdom of Christ and a relationship with Christ, but completely tormented. So a lot of my survivors in 2020 that the Lord started sending me were SRA survivors. Now, just to backtrack a little bit, I had a dream, and this is typically how the Lord would meet me and use me and call me on assignments for Him, were through dreams and through aligning me with an intercession team in California. So again, He has trained me in a place of wilderness, a place of isolation, and me remaining desperate and hungry for the more of Him, and calling out on who can I trust to come alongside me, to continue to sharpen me, to keep me accountable, and to help me to continue to develop and steward the gifts that I have. So a lot of the gifts that I do carry are extreme discernment, where even now today I'm able to discern things in the spirit where people are shifting and sifting in and out of different personalities. And I witnessed this firsthand a couple years ago with Christian leaders and leadership teams, and just understanding the safe place and the need for influencers, famous leaders, people that are exposing darkness, just the need of healing. That, of course, it's free will, so they have to choose to engage their free will for healing. But we are noticing it at a high scale. And so I feel like my ministry is a little ahead, but that's not to say that the Lord is not going to have me serving clients, which is what I've been doing globally around the world. Most of my clients come through referral. So I did have a dream in 2020 about baby farms I would like to share with you. And again, it's best that children are not around as I share. So in this dream, I felt like I was underground, and it looked like I was underground. There were bricks everywhere, and gray bricks all around me, and it felt cold and gray and dark. And then I seen a nurse, and the nurse was coming in. It felt like a bathroom stall. The nurse was coming in to administer drugs on a metal tray. Now, when I looked at the tray, you saw like every drug you can think of, from heroin to marijuana, pills. And I saw these women that were so drugged up in hospital gowns, and they looked about 6 months pregnant. So I asked the woman, I wasn't sure if she could hear me. The Lord didn't allow me to see the babies die when they came out, because they were born or came out stillborn. And the woman came in to collect each baby. Okay. So I said, "What are you going to do with those babies?" And she literally like put a stake through them and put them in this type of like container and threw them in the fire. So instantly I thought Molech, right? And child sacrifices. I woke up and I was like, Lord, what was that? Mind you, I never went down the rabbit hole. I didn't know anything about MK Ultra, government-sponsored kidnapping, all of those things. I did not know any of it. So I instantly was like, Lord, what is this? And he said, I want you to go look that up. So literally, I put in Google baby farms. And the first post or article that came up was Oprah Winfrey's spiritual advisor, John of God, arrested for baby farms all over the world. So, mind you, during that time of the chaos that we went through in 2020, during the exposure of these pedophile rings and these high, level people that were trafficking children and using children for rituals were being exposed, and we're seeing that continue to surface. So a lot of times what people are understanding is that as exposures coming forward, there are victims and survivors being triggered by the programs that they were programmed with. So the Lord has taught me and has trained me in a new way where it goes beyond healing and deliverance with SRA survivors. So that set me on a whole new course, and I instantly just started praying. The Lord said, there are children that are held captive underground and that are used for horrific things. I want you to pray and intercede for them, Christina. So I got a map. I laid my hands on the map and I started praying over different regions, different territories as the Lord would speak. And so instantly, I began writing out decrees, and that's around the time that I got connected with a spiritual mapping team, and they allowed me to develop my voice in a new way and to write decrees against, it reminds me of Ephesians 6:12, but against these powers in high places and jurisdictions in the second heaven over these territories where children were being held captive and horrific things were happening. So I read Kathy O'Brien's book and how she was a CIA mind control slave and a sex slave, and there's so many presidential sex slaves. And everything so far, what I've learned is that the enemy has done a great job in fragmenting and programming not only the survivors, but the world. And so God is saying, come out of her, come out of Babylon. And He is definitely putting us all through a sifting and a shifting that we have never experienced. So I fund my ministry by myself. And I am needing support, whether it's through intercession, or maybe if you want a team to be trained, or if you need me to speak at an event, or to speak with your ministry staff, or to have financial partnership. But I can say that maybe about 3 whistleblowers I have worked with, and the amount of spiritual things that they go through is beyond what most in the church can begin to grasp. So that's where we're being called up higher to be bold in a new way. So this is what Daughters of Warfare is all about. So it's being anchored in Jesus and understanding that programs and fragmentation and trauma and religious abuse, it brings a separation in that relationship. So my heart is always going to be about reconnecting them back into that intimacy, returning back to the first love of Jesus, but also creating a safe place. So I have worked with famous leaders. I've worked with Christian ministers, Christian rappers, Christian worship leaders. I have worked with people coming out of New Age. I've worked with psychics and mediums that left that world and came to know Christ, but were tormented because they still had so many things tied to them from all the occult magic that they did. So I did also create a cosmic warfare course, and I have a ton of trainings on there. If you guys would like to purchase that, at the top of the website here, there is a link, and there's training videos on what the Lord exposed while I was aligned with different ministries that were starting to connect into the wrong source of power. So I do not believe in deliverance being abusive or holding people down or allowing them to manifest and humiliate themselves. I think we need to move beyond that and understand that people need healing, and you cannot cast out parts of a person's humanity. Okay, and that's what people are doing. They're hurting people. And then you have people operating out of sorcery and out of darkness, not knowing it, and they are really, really hurting people, and they need healing. So, this ministry and what I offer is creating a safe place and going beyond healing and deliverance to help these people get deprogrammed, to help them get set free, and to rebuild trust because a lot of them have been hurt. There's so much to learn in this realm of healing, and there's so much for us to continue to ask the Lord, search my heart, search what's in within me that is offensive towards you, Lord. And that's one prayer I prayed right when I got saved. So when I got saved, there was nothing normal about my salvation. Everything was so supernatural to the point where I was so in love with Jesus, going from an antichrist, I don't want to deal with Christianity, I don't want that because of what I seen in Christians. And then I had the supernatural encounter with the Father, and I was just forever changed. And then I was a part of an awakening where I had a supernatural encounter seeing Jesus in real time. And it's just been supernatural ever since then. But also understanding how the enemy comes in as false light. And we need to understand that we need discernment this hour. So there's so much more that I would like to share. I am going to be launching a podcast soon, and I am starting training videos as well, just to share a little bit more and train and equip those who are ready and willing. So again, thank you for being here. Please message me if you guys have any questions. God bless.